twice. Yeah. Yo, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And we are back today for another recap of The Shaad. This is season 7, episode 11, titled Ready or Not. But before we get started, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, like the video, and click that notification bell. We may have some very special content coming your way, so you are not going to want to miss out on that. Doing all of those things help support our channel, as well as following us on social media at The Spot Real Talk on all major platforms. Keep the love coming. Keep inviting your friends and family. We are loving the growth and we are loving the support. So thank you guys so much for that. Let's go ahead and start talking about this episode because this one was really, really good. I want to start off talking a little bit before we're going to do a little build up because I can see a lot of stuff, the pieces coming together where it's going to be some drama more than what we've already gotten. I mean, it's been a lot of drama this season, but I can see it escalating even more. First of all, this whole situation with Reg, he already has been very suspicious, very paranoid that the police are watching him. And so now that those two guys, the decoys he sent last week for the robbery, got caught up, he definitely feels like it was an inside job and that he was set up. The two guys we learned later on were released, which I'm like, dang, they did still do a robbery.
Yeah.
They said that's not who they were looking for.
Right. Okay, but I'm like, it's a crime is a crime.
A crime is a crime is a
but
crime.
Police do that though. They throw the small fish back to get the big fish. They do that sometimes.
Yeah, but I was like, that's a little wild.
Yeah, at least charge him with vandalism and destruction of property. Something.
If I was the business owner, I'd be a little upset.
Me too.
But Reg goes down the line and he's picking off people, talking about how he is going to figure out who set him up, and whoever it is, he gonna kill them. So I'm like, oh, wow, this went from 0 to 100 real quick.
So y'all got to help me out with that because I've often said Reg ain't none too bright. He's not the sharpest tool in the toolkit. So I'm trying to understand. And here's why I say that. Let me say
he's
this.
Not stupid.
Okay, let me finish. So what I'm saying is the only person that was in the room, I think, was Hannibal.
When he said it, they were all playing cards. So
but the only
Keith was there. There was a lot of people at the table when he said it.
And he mentioned it twice. He mentioned it. I think he talked a little bit about it one-on-one with Hannibal, but again in the group setting.
Right. And the only one that I would think, because it looked like when they showed the scene and he got up in Hannibal's face, it looked like he knew it might be Hannibal that did that. And then when he said call everybody in, I'm like, dang, you still gonna
I think he didn't know for sure.
I think he's still trying to, because I really think he set them up. Because the fact that they did the switcheroo, I think he knew that somebody was all right. It was a test.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I think he probably does have an idea that it's Hannibal, but I think he probably trying to be sure and everything because, I think he's trying to be sure, but I think he knows him.
I mean, especially with the way that he kind of almost threatened his wife.
Yeah.
He kind of was getting ready to get rough with her, and then Hannibal kind of stepped in and was like, calm the situation down and whatnot. But I was like, my suspicion tells me that he's leaning a little bit more towards Hannibal than everybody else, but he still doesn't have the concrete evidence. And if he's talking about offing somebody, I think he wants to be certain.
For me, once you put a gun in my wife's face like that, or girlfriend, you going out and you won't even know you got hit. Because I'm not going to let you come back and do that again. See, because I already said by any means necessary, this boy got to go. But I'm just saying, this is crazy. You're going to put a gun in her face, knowing that she ain't got nothing to do with it. And we know he's just crazy enough to pull the trigger.
He is.
Yeah. And the crazy part is that wasn't the last robbery. So he's sitting up here plotting his next one. and asking Candice to be his lookout, which I'm like, oh, this girl just don't know what she done got herself into. fooling with Reg.
But the text message that she was sending, like, where are you? And she's saying where she is.
Yeah.
I think that's going to get him caught up, because I think she going to text her. She was looking around. I think she going to text that address to Alicia.
Yeah, and she already kind of gave Reg the drop on like what this woman, this rich lady, she got a lot of money, and he was like, "What you say her name was?" So I think that Reg, if Alicia does come to the scene and he sees her fit in the description of what Terry, of so-called Terry, then I think Reg will immediately know what it is, and it's gonna be more than Alicia probably bargained for, because I think she is thinking she can ambush the situation. It might not be as much of an ambush as she's thinking.
I don't think that she would show up. I think that she would pass that information on to the cop.
What was that? Say that again.
I don't think that she would show up on the scene, Alicia. I think that she would send the address to the cop.
But then again,
and let her come.
But then again, I mean, Alicia already told the cop that she doesn't need anybody to do her work for her. She's equipped to do it all by herself. And that's a good point, because, the immediacy of it all, you would think that you call the police will get there, and the storyline is over. But she wants to get rid of Red. She doesn't want anybody else to do it. She wants to do it. So the irony of this story is she gets there, botches the whole thing.
But the cop wants Reg more than Alicia. Now that she knows that Reg is
Alicia
not the
wants
one.
him. No, she said that. She said to the cop.
But she wants him off the streets.
The cop does. But Alicia says.
No, I'm talking about Alicia. Alicia wants him off the streets. So
she said she wants him dead. She said she wants everybody dead. So before the streets, she wants him dead. And I can see her grabbing that gun, not saying anything to the detective, and trying to do it herself. She's already proven that she's up for that.
Yeah. Well, regardless of who shows up, whether it's Alicia or Detective Toussaint, I think that they are going to get way more than they bargained for.
I think so too.
Like I said, he's not stupid. He might do some stupid stuff, but he's not
dumb. He's not dumb.
Y'all got to explain the difference. But we don't have time. But I guess
he has street smarts. He's street savvy, and I think that he is. I think he is aware of some things, and I really think Hannibal's days are numbered, or maybe that's too easy, because that's the obvious. I think it's a couple of people I'm worried for. Worried about him, worried about Bakari.
Yes.
And even Nook. I even wonder if Nook makes it out this season.
But if you really want to get to a man, kill his wife.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the right move.
It wouldn't be, but I'm saying, he's just that low life. If you're going to put a gun in somebody's face, you're willing to pull the trigger.
Yeah. Well, we have to see how that plays out, but we spoke up Bakari a little bit. This episode, Alicia actually confronted Bakari about Rob's real killer. She told him, "Look, I know you were at the scene." And so Bakari, he basically, lied, and he was like, "No, it was Zay," and he wasn't really giving up Nook. And so Alicia was like, "You're loyal to him, like you're his," and Bakari stated that he was loyal to himself, but I think Alicia really realized that, okay, there's more to this than what you letting on. And I think that it was good of Bakari to keep sounding the alarms to everybody around him about him being in danger, because he went to Lene first and he told her, that Nook really killed Rob. So Lene is now another person that knows the truth. And I'm like, the more people that know the truth, the better, because if something happened to Bakari, they can help put the pieces together.
Except that the more people that know, you don't know which loose lips are going to get to Reg, and so I don't look. Bakari was caught between a rock and a hard place. You got Alicia on one end, who's looking him right down the throat, and he's trying to hold steady with Nook. Personally, I'm not sure how I would have handled that.
Yeah,
because she will kill you. And Now, and then we know he goes back and he says something to Nook. Now Nook's pissed off at him.
Well, I think that he was trying to, like I said, sound the alarms because he really feels like his life is in danger. So let me tell people that I kind of trust. Let me tell Lene. Let me go talk to Nook and at least tip him off of, Alicia being on his tail, because now Nook is aware that, okay, Alicia might be aiming her blows at me now. And I think he was a little hard on Bakari, because Bakari really was kind of like I said, tipping him off to some information. But he was like, "Oh, you a B, you not fit to be my number two, and this and that." And I'm like, I don't know if that's the right response. Like, you should be trying to figure out plan B instead of arguing about what's already done.
As the number two, I would expect, if I'm number one, I would expect my number two to take out anybody that could be a threat.
Well, Bakari has already stated he never wanted the spot.
Well, but but he wanted in.
Well, but that's the thing about having a number two that don't want to be a number two, is that you can't expect them to be all in.
But like I said it before, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And Bakari really, I mean, tell me, does he really want out? It seems that he does, but does he really want
out? He does want out. He does.
Yeah, to me, he does.
Maybe one way to
Even when
go.
he went to Professor Gardner, and he was they were looking at the little military sign and whatnot. And, he let Professor Gardner know that he lost his scholarship. But he was also talking about how he needed to get back to his book. And I think that he really does, like, that's his passion. I think that's really what he wants to pursue. And so I'm like, the street life, he's only doing it out of obligation because he feels like he has to, so don't kill him.
But that's a dangerous game to play, because if you're not all in,
yeah,
I mean,
but it's all it's hard to get out the life though.
But he had a chance. He has a chance. I mean, he's given a chance. He had the scholarship. He's got
he is, but he's also still living with Nook.
Well, but that's my point, though. At some point, when you go, you got to go. I mean, you got to literally break camp.
But I think that's why he wants to break loose from Nook too, because he wants to break loose from Nook so that he's not involved in the street life no more. But he told Professor Gardner that he didn't even want the scholarship back, because Professor Gardner was offering to talk to Alicia on his behalf, and he was like, "No, just let it go. I need to focus on my book." And I was like, okay, the more people that you are beholden to, the more people that got you under their thumb, the harder it is for you to do what you really want to do. He got to break loose from Nook, and he got to break loose from Alicia.
Did y'all notice that when the professor was speaking to him, that whole setup was like Boys in the Hood? It was like it was like a homage to Boys in the Hood, because that scene with Lawrence Fishburne when he's speaking to Cuba Gooding Jr. And Ricky and all of that. Yeah.
Even that nightmare he had was
back to that. That was true. That's true.
Yeah, because I thought that was real for a second. I was like, my heart dropped. I was like,
me too.
No.
It was exactly like Boys in the Hood. They even had on the same clothes. They had on the same clothes. It was a whole scene when they were like, let's split up. Somebody's watching us. The scratch offs. I was like, they had the whole scene
down
to the T.
And if you looked at when he woke up from the dream, he was laying on the couch. The movie was playing on TV.
Yeah, that's cute the way he did that. But that's why I'm thinking he's in more trouble than we can imagine, because that scene, as you said, I thought was real. And I thought that all that talk, all that loose lip, all that I want to get out but not out business caught up with him. And that's what I was afraid of. But then when I saw it's a dream, I'm like, whew, okay, see.
Yeah, I was relieved.
Yeah, but we got another episode.
Yeah. So I got Bakari, on my list of people who probably don't have a lot of time left on the show, but I'm hoping that he can have a positive outcome. I'm hoping for the best, but I know the worst is probably
right.
Well, let's look at it this way: between Reg, Nook, and Bakari, which one's more expendable?
Expendable, I would say Reg.
No, he's the antagonist. I mean, we want him around as long as we can keep him, because you build the show around him, not so much around him, but you always have us, like people like me, who want to see him gone by any means necessary.
Well, I guess you should say what perspective. I'm speaking from a personal,
Oh,
emotional
okay.
perspective. Like, Reg
Okay.
can
Yeah.
go.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes, he can. You're right. If one has to go emotionally,
Right.
it's Reg all day
But
long.
from a storyline perspective, Reg definitely keeps the drama coming.
And Nook is that.
Nook is stuck in between two worlds where he seems like he's morally conflicted as well. So I
I
think
still,
that doesn't fare well for storylines. We know when people start having moral breakthroughs and stuff
Yeah.
like that, that usually means that they about to get up out of here.
listen, I think, and I said this earlier, Ron knows I said this. Nook has all these bodies. He's responsible for a lot of people. So I feel like eventually karma is coming for him.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. So it's interesting with the situation with Nook because as we see with Tiff too, she brought Nook to her dispensary. She's kind of showing off all her upgrades, and then Nook is like, "Let me be your distributor. Let me and my crew handle that." But Tiff is very hesitant because of how much Alicia dislikes him, and she's like, "I'm living with Alicia. She's basically financing my life right now. I can't cross her." And Nook offers to make peace with Alicia. Now I'm like, knowing what you know about her wanting to kill basically you and Bakari, whoever was behind her son's death, she don't want them breathing no more. So how do you make peace with a woman that don't want you on the earth?
And Tiff and I, we had that conversation a little earlier as well. I mean, and my point is, do you understand the risk involved with dealing with Tiff? And now you're talking about going face to face with Alicia.
I don't see it going well.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either.
I mean, what could he possibly do to make amends with her? Nothing.
Nothing at all. And it's crazy to me that Tiff, it seems like besides her better judgment, she still continues to cozy up to him. She's going over to his house now, and I'm like, oh, this girl just don't even know what she doing.
But she was doing all that, being cozy with him. But later in the episode, we see what her water broke and who taking her to the hospital.
Exactly.
Exactly,
Mhm.
So it's
exactly.
like,
So you can't trust these Tiffany's in the world, man. I
wait a minute, don't mischaracterize the tips. Don't
I'm
mischaracterize.
just joking, you know.
Yeah, but it is definitely it's giving drama right now. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know that, this is an extended season. I think they did that for a reason because they got some major stuff that they need to hash out this season. Um and kind of speaking along major stuff, it's seeming like, more and more Jada is not gonna be around, and it even seems like, Emmett and family might even eventually make an exit because first of all, Darnell goes to the grief counselor again, which I was like, kudos to him for seeking help when he knows he needs it. And he is advised to throw a living funeral, a celebration of life as they called it. And they agree, and Emmett is supposed to be giving a speech and whatnot at the event, but he ends up kind of breaking down, and understandably tough for him to carry that out.
Listen,
he's
I
sober
cried
on that.
during that scene.
I was
Yeah.
like,
He's sober.
I was
wipe the
crying during that
tears.
scene.
Yeah,
Me too.
in fact,
I did
I
cry on
think he really broke down. I think the scene got to him. I mean, if you can act that well, because he broke down, and I'm thinking to myself, oh wow, man, that is not only some acting, but I think you get involved with the scene, and you
and
can,
their family.
and the
That
family,
they have
it's
been,
so
what is this,
relatable.
7
7
seasons.
seasons and
Yeah,
stuff. So they're close knit,
They are
and
yeah,
the
both
way
OGs.
they held on to each other
yeah,
the whole time while Darnell
yeah.
read his thoughts and stuff. They just clung to each other, and I said, I was over there, boo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely rough, and I was like, wow, That was such a moving scene. And, with all three of them being like OGs, they are original cast members since season one. I just know, like you said, that it's not him just method acting and putting himself in the position of someone who's losing their mother, but they probably, like you said, also feel like a family as a cast.
Yeah.
And so seeing somebody depart the cast that's been with you since the beginning, that has to be rough too. So that probably is where he drew some of his emotions from as well.
For me, I know I would have broken down. I'm like, okay, I'm done. You got to read this because, I would have been all over the place. But
I thought it was funny that they had Suede there. I was like, oh, yeah, that's like the old work.
Yeah, I was like, Suede came through, and it was funny because while he was talking to Jada, Darnell was looking at him like he was gritting on him like, I said, okay. He wasn't too happy to see Suede, but
right. Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. They threw him in there, but Jada starts kind of preparing everybody for her departure. At the sister circle, she was letting all the ladies know, like, look, I don't need no second opinions. I don't need to try no holistic approaches. I've made peace with it. This is what it's gonna be. I suggest y'all make peace with it. And she was telling them to kind of support Emmett after she's gone. But she also had the conversation with Emmett himself and was telling him, like, look, Chicago is dangerous. Promise me that you and Keisha and the kids will get up out of here and move elsewhere. And that's why I was like, oh, maybe this might be an opening for, their departure too from the show. Who knows? But she also
they can come back. At least that way, if they're not, unalived,
right,
they can still come back and forth.
Yeah. Or maybe the following season is the last season, and that would be a nice way out.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
too.
Another way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They are also opening the door for Darnell's new love interest because Jada was kind of talking about I want you to embrace love after I'm gone and whatnot. And we see how him and
Wendy Raquel,
yeah, and her character have been kind of like cozy enough well, not even cozy enough, but she's just been a real big source of support for him and advising him because she's been through it. And so I was like, that would be a natural
fit.
Yeah, a natural fit for him once Jada is gone.
Well, you see that Emmett was like,
I was about to say,
Emmett was like, oh, you're already talking to another woman. He's like, no, she's just trying to support. But I'm like, trust me, if he eases into that too fast, Emmett gonna have some problems. He's gonna be like, you know what? Mom wasn't even gone yet, and you already.
She's not even cold in the ground, and you already got somebody else on you.
Well, it seemed like easing into things too fast runs in the family because Damian was knee deep in Zuri. I'm like, and you inviting people over without them knowing this is not your house. Here you are, you done made mistake after mistake after mistake, and then you are still violating.
Damian is, and then he forgot Ronnie. He was supposed to pick Ronnie up. He getting busy in their house. And then it was funny. It's like the history repeated itself because Zuri was under the bed, and it made me think about what Keisha said about Jada. Like she was under the bed. That's why Keisha knew to look under the bed.
That's why Emmett said, "Dang, that DNA is something."
DNA is something, right? And so Keisha did just what Jada did for her. Like Jada made Keisha something to eat. Keisha offered Zuri something to eat.
Yeah, because I was like, it's crazy to me how lenient they've been with Damian. This man has literally almost gotten people killed.
I mean, and leaving the baby behind, okay, at some point you got to draw the line.
Yeah, I'm like, how lenient we going to continue to be?
Yeah, at some point you got to draw the line.
We got to go. Like, I mean, Emmett got shot. You forgot the baby. You got Zuri in the house. They ain't your house.
Money left and right.
He stole the shrooms from Hannibal. It's that
look, and then they laid down the ground rules for him. They told him that he needs to let them know about company. And what does he do? Again, have Zuri over, and he sleep on the couch while she watching Ronnie.
She watching the baby. I said. I said something about that too because he was just like, well, she's good with the kids. I mean, and I said that's not the point.
She's an uninvited guest.
She's an uninvited guest. Damian was supposed to be watching it, and he sleep while she watching the baby.
Well, you know
All of
what?
that.
Why not? Why not?
No.
If nobody is going to hold you to the fire, you hold your feet to the fire. Why not?
Well, look, at least they might be getting a nanny out of it.
We hope, but she's a
Yeah, because
nymph.
she is good. She is good
Yeah, but she's
with
got
the baby.
issues too. So now she's
Hmm.
got your baby, and hopefully, that doesn't
She a
come up.
sex addict, so she better keep her eyes off Emmett.
This is what I'm saying. So she's not bad on the eyes, and my
No,
boy,
she's cute.
and Emmett, he will go around the block
Well,
once or twice.
well,
Now, hopefully,
I think Emmett has grown a lot.
Yeah, I
yeah,
thought it was interesting that she said she declined a nannying position because the father at that
that's what she
job
said.
was
Try to
making
hit on her.
passes. Yeah,
That's
and I
what she
was like,
said.
I mean, not to say that she just got to pass it out to whoever is, making passes at her, but she seemingly is
Well,
open
she
to
probably,
that.
yeah, she probably was like, I ain't that loose. She probably like, somebody's dad.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
she
he
probably.
was maybe he was an old fart and she didn't want to be bothered with him. But
Maybe it
let's
had
see,
to
Mm-hmm.
be
let's
something.
see, let's just hope. Let's just hope that
But
Emmett
it
has
was.
learned his lesson and
Mhm.
he doesn't go there because. But then again, we do know that everybody's community property on the shy.
Mhm. And
So,
Damian, boy, I'm telling you,
He didn't work my
he
last one.
yeah, he's permanently on the hands list.
Yeah.
Permanently.
Hmm. Now, it seems like with this whole fallout with Zeke and everything, he's trying to regroup and put everything back together. He has Charles vying for the co-pastor position, and he's kind of telling Charles, "You need to get married. Nobody wants a single pastor and whatnot." And I think he has observed, or we've all observed, that Charles been too busy making his rounds around
Hmm.
town. So he probably like, "Yeah, if you want this co-pastor spot, you gotta cool it."
well,
You
I
know,
mean,
go
okay.
ahead.
Well, Pastor Zeke, you better take your own medicine because I mean, you're
Hey,
not married either.
hey.
And judging from what happened when you were on Papa's show and what's her name? His ex-wife,
Oh, Carolyn.
Carolyn. And
Yeah.
judging from what Carolyn was saying, y'all may not be getting married anytime soon
Well,
because
I wanted to ask y'all about that because Zeke went on there. Papa kind of told him you can reintroduce yourself to the community, let them know who you really are versus what they're painting you to be. And so he goes on there with the idea that I'm just going to be super transparent and just lay it out on the line, which he does. He talks about, his past marriages, his infidelity without trying to out them,
Mhm.
but he also spoke a lot on Kenya and how his indiscretions affected her and her choice of, friends and, having a baby early and whatnot. And so I get that Zeke was trying to be genuine, trying to reintroduce himself, trying to be transparent, but also he spoke a lot on Carolyn and Kenya's business. And I'm like, for this to be a public forum where, God knows how many people are listening, was it right for him to kind of out their business like that, even without consulting with them?
No, I mean, I appreciated the grand gesture. I did appreciate how open he was about saying that he was interested in wanting her back. So I thought I was like, okay. He's swinging for the fences. He's trying to, but I felt her when she said, "I'm a private person," because I am too. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I
Yeah.
but I understood what he was trying to do. So I'm like, I'm kind of torn.
and
Well, yeah.
and me, I thought the only part I thought that was a little heavy was the way he described his daughter and some of the
Mm-hmm.
things that she was going into getting into. She's all into bad company and so forth and so on. Nobody really needed to know that.
Yeah.
But I thought the way he handled Carolyn it was
Uh-huh.
cool. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
very sentimental, showing her that,
Mhm.
or at least telling the world that she's it. He wants to get back. He wants, I was a little taken to hear how she handled that. I
I
know,
was.
as you said, she's private,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
but I didn't notice anything. So I didn't see anything that he said that was so um, open to her private life. I mean, he
I
basically
think it was more Papa than anything, because Papa was asking the questions. And I get that he wanted to clear up a lot of the confusion surrounding Zeke and his situations. But Papa was really the lead into all of this information, because he was like, asking the questions. Oh, well, you were with Tatiana and you that didn't go well. Y'all both cheated on each other and stuff like that. And then he started talking about, well, your first wife, she's black, right? Yeah, well, she left you. Why did she leave you? And it was like a lot of the stuff that was exposed about their situations is because of the way Papa asked the question.
And I don't blame Papa. Papa was doing what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, I'm not saying I blame him, but if Carolyn wants to be mad at anybody, be mad at Papa for asking the question. Zeke just answered, and Zeke was very tasteful in saying that's not my business to expose.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. See, and right there, put a pin in it, because that's my point. He did that very tastefully. And so I was a little taken as to why she was so upset with him and talking about her her private life. Get it? You are private, but to me, what it was saying is everybody doesn't need to know that we're trying to get back together right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably just that.
Mm-hmm. Probably, announcing it to the world on a podcast is probably, yeah.
And her thing also was like, you're a public servant. We are not a public
Exactly.
servant.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, it is. But what does it say about the point? Does that mean that that's the way I want it to be for any length of time that
we taking baby steps. We trying to get back. We not there yet. So hold your horses.
Mm-hmm.
Hold your horses.
I don't think he on
the podcast.
Well, he didn't announce any engagement or look, he was speaking his mind.
Yeah, I mean, I get the overture. I thought it was sweet, but at the same time, I do understand that too. Like, you're a public servant, we're not,
Yeah. So
just start talking about spinning the block. Chill out.
Yeah.
And everybody asks you to yell it from the mountaintop.
Right? Because then, like, let's say something goes wrong in a relationship and we stop pursuing this thing. Then everybody in our business, like, oh, what happened? We heard on the podcast that y'all was getting back together.
Yeah. That's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, so I'm not mad at him, but I do think that Carolyn misdirected some of her anger. Some of it was warranted, but I think a lot of the business that was exposed was Papa's wording of his questions.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see how that plays out. We know Kenya was upset too. We haven't seen her have a conversation with Zeke yet on her take on his podcast interview. So we'll see about that. Another couple having some issues. Dom and Jamal still going through it. They go to counseling, and Dom is having this issue with her independence versus, Jamal wanting to be the man of the house, him wanting to lead, and them combining finances and trying to be one. Dom is still saying she is her own woman and she needs to figure out how to be her own woman in the confines of this marriage.
I can tell you.
You be by yourself, right?
Yeah. you want to be, look, you want to have your own, because see, when you are this and you become that, you see that?
Ron, that's what she was trying to do. She wanted to be alone with her toy.
How many fingers you got here? If you went from here to here, and that includes finances.
Well, yeah,
that's half the problem. Yeah, I mean, because if for instance, you don't know what she's doing with her money, and she doesn't know what you're doing with yours, the moment a money issue comes up, all hell breaks loose.
Right.
Now, if you want to have a small account on the side to play around with or something to that effect, that's fine. But even in that case, there has to be some sort of parameters. I mean, maybe anything over $500 we have to discuss. Anything over, $1,000.
Just be honest.
Yeah, but at some point, I can understand your privacy, but she wants to be single and married at the same time.
That she wants to live like a single woman in a marriage.
Yeah,
but I do think that you can have me time too. Like men have like the men's cave and stuff, and women have me time. So I think you can still have that within a marriage.
Absolutely.
I think that they both committed to talking about it. And so I thought that was important that they agreed to continue working on it, because it's clear that they rushed into this marriage and there was a lot of stuff that they overlooked, and now it's a problem. So they having to work backwards.
She's the problem.
Well, Dom does seem to definitely be very opinionated, have some strong stances on things. Especially her use of the toy. Now, she told the counselor that, it's something that she likes to do in her alone time or whatever. And, the counselor was letting her know that nothing wrong with that within your marriage. Whatever you want to do, go ahead and do that. But you need to consider how it makes your husband feel, because Jamal was expressing that he felt insignificant. And
look, I'm not going to get any personal. I'm
do
not
you
going
have?
to get
All right, let
personal
me ask
behind
you
this.
this: you
Yeah,
have
go
an
ahead.
opinion?
Mm-hmm.
All right, the counselor's opinion was for Dom to be more mindful and to consider how she makes Jamal feel insignificant.
Right.
When Jamal went to Zeke told him, well, why don't you join her the next time you see that?
Absolutely.
Happening?
Look, ain't nothing wrong.
Zeke,
Hey, I'm on Zeke. You my man this week. I mean,
listen,
look,
I agree with Zeke. Like,
hey, you knock on the door, you see that happening. Say, hey, babe, can I join you? I mean, she didn't have another man in there, so she's playing. Well, I don't want to get too graphic. We are family show, but
I agree with Zeke.
Yeah. I mean,
they both could partake.
Look, go on in there and have some fun. Get this thing going.
I do see both sides of it, because I do think that Dom has a tendency to overlook Jamal's feelings on certain things. She's very selfish in some of her opinions.
Well, see,
so I think that there's a happy medium somewhere in there. They just have to figure out how to get to it.
Let's look at it this way. If he walked in on her and she said, something to the effect, get out, in other words, disregarding the fact that she's married and she should have some idea how men would feel about that initially. But if she didn't accept him at that point in time, if she wanted him to get away and she wants to have this me time for herself and she was a little rude behind it, then I can understand Jamal feeling some kind of way. But Jamal, I mean, that's a golden opportunity to have some fun. So my thing is, don't be afraid of that thing. Just never mind.
Put your ego aside.
Yeah.
And join in and have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't do what that thing does anyway. So you can forget all about that. That's an enhancement. Okay, you can't measure up to that. Okay.
Well, it seems like Jamal is just struggling to navigate this they both are in this new situation that they did not plan very well for. So I think that they're having misunderstandings about each other. Then they had this big traumatic event happening with Jamal getting shot, and that has shifted some of their views on marriage and life and everything that they want out of it. So it's like, I think that the more communicating they do and the more they do with meeting each other halfway, the better off they'll be. I'm very proud of their progress in counseling in the way that they have at least agreed to continue working on it with each other.
Yeah.
So
my initial thought, and probably will be my last thought, I don't think Dom wants to really be married.
It might not last.
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna stay married either. I mean, I think they're doing the right thing by pursuing counseling and everything. And the fact that they're both going is showing that they're willing to work at it. But they need to. She gonna have to compromise if she want this marriage to work. Both of them have to compromise.
Well, yeah, but I'm really surprised at Jamal though. I thought he would have a stronger stance with things, because she seems to be doing to Jamal what she's doing to my boy T on the other side. I mean,
you think she being Marquisha?
Yeah,
to Jamal?
Yes, she got some Marquisha rolls rolling up in there, and I'm like, look, guys, y'all.
No, I think because Marquisha, I think Marquisha on BMF is kind of deceitful and stuff. Whereas I don't think that Dom is deliberately being deceitful or anything. I think she.
Secretive.
Yeah, I think.
That's to like
I
in
think she
America.
just, I think she just like resolute in what she wants. She being kind of selfish. She
Well,
being
yeah.
selfish, but Markeisha is something else.
Yeah.
Markeisha was sowing division between T and Meech, between the brothers and stuff. That's something different.
Yeah.
I think Dom is different.
Yeah, and Dom, she actually seems like, although she is very independent and she can't shake that mindset just yet, she does seem genuine in at least wanting the marriage. Like she loves him. That's real love there. She just they just on two different pages right now.
She loves him, and she even said to Lene that if something happened to Jamal, that she had her back. She's like, I got you. We family now.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying she's a total, whatever, but she's right close to it, if you ask me.
No. I just think, and I think a lot of people do that. I think other people have done that, rushed into marriage, and they talk about certain things, or they may know certain things, but get in a marriage and think they can still change someone and stuff too. And that is just as dangerous.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, this was a good episode. A lot of stuff can come out of this episode alone. I'm just like, my mind is racing, thinking about all the possibilities of things that could happen. I'm really enjoying it. I think there's 15 episodes, so we got 3 more to go.
No,
12. I thought there was 15. I don't know why I read that somewhere, but
maybe I'm wrong.
Nope. You're right. I'm sorry. That is 12. My eyes is messed up, y'all. I need some glasses. And there are 12 episodes. So next week will be the last episode. Man, I have no idea where they're gonna leave us. I just know that it's gonna be a great episode.
This is what I was thinking about. So when Zeke told Charles that he needed a wife, it was interesting that Hannibal and Hannibal's wife, Calipari, came to the church, and he said, your sister Angela was the one that got away. So now I'm like, are we going to see this Angela? Because I was thinking,
so.
Here I am. I'm just thinking, because I was like, what if something happens to Hannibal? What if something happens to them both? That might bring Angela, because if there's a funeral, that might bring Angela
into town,
Charles's space, and it'll be interesting to see who's playing the role of Angela.
I think since it's the last one for season 7, somebody's got to go, and my cue card is Bakari. I think what they gave us. Is a.
Bakari, I think Hannibal too. I think Hannibal, when we found out.
For some reason, I think Hannibal can make it another episode or two. Because I mean, theoretically, someone has to out him to Reg, and since
Reg is gonna figure it out,
he ain't figuring out nothing. Reg,
season finale. I believe Hannibal going. I think he going.
I think
Bakari may go too. We'll see if Nook makes it out. He might make it out because they still need some antagonists for the final season.
That's true.
And that's why I say, which is why I say what I say, because Reg, look, if we didn't have Reg, this would be a very, very soft program. If we have Nook gone, again, they're the ones that keep the heat. They're the ones that come back fired up because of their, what they're doing. So, and
you gotta have that, especially
you have to.
Yeah,
when you left, that was huge.
That was huge.
Yeah,
and they, I love the way they brought back Reg to pick up where Duda left off. So we still got that fire in us with this, but. As far as Bakari is concerned, well, he wants out, and he's on the fence, and we know what happens when you're on the fence in the streets like that. And they just foreshadow, in a sense, what I think is going to happen in episode 12, possibly.
Now I wonder too, is it possible that we have Candice texting Terry about this robbery that's going on, but also at the same time you have Tiff going to the hospital about to have that baby. Now Alicia's going to be torn on which one to pursue, Maybe she goes to the hospital to tend to Tiff. Maybe she goes to the scene where Candice is to catch Reg in the act or
Well, I
whatever.
think that baby will come first, but that's a good
Mm-hmm.
point though, because in order for that to happen, she would definitely have to get in touch with Toussaint. Is that her name?
Yeah. So maybe she
Um,
sends the detective to deal with Reg while she goes to the
That's
hospital.
why I said all she
Yeah.
has to do is give the detective the address. But then that's the other thing. If Reg thinks that Candice betrayed him, will he off her?
yeah, and
That's a good point.
and remember he got that look he gave when he went in and kind of turned and looked back. You know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe he went out the back door or what have you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
good points. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe he's not as dumb as
Or maybe, yeah, this
I
could be
don't
a
think
test of
he's
her
dumb.
loyalty.
He might be testing her loyalty too. Yeah, that's just say
That's
I
very
don't think
possible.
he's done some dumb things, but I don't think he's stupid. I think he's very street smart, and
Yeah.
I think he is planting seeds, trying to see who's really down and who's loyal to him.
And that
Ooh.
makes sense too
Yeah.
because he did he have a key? You know, I guess
He
he.
had a key. He had a key.
So whose house was he breaking into?
That's what I said. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
that's interesting. So if he had a key, and he's entering, and it's that look he gave, there's a possibility that he's, as you said, he's testing her loyalty,
Yeah,
and
we'll
she
see.
just failed. So maybe
Yeah.
she's the one to
And if
go.
she did, yeah. And the thing is, if he does something to her, remember Keith is her cousin.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's gonna be a whole problem
And
too.
that's Dante. Well, Dante might be mad he stole her in the first place, but
Mm-hmm.
who knows what ties she still has with him. He
Yeah.
might really be attracting a lot of heat if he does something to Candice.
Yep.
So if we gonna have to see it. There's a lot, like I said, that can come out of this. So this was a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
For our who can get the hands list. Number one,
Damian.
Damian. He can 1,000% get the hands. I'm so sick of him and his he's just so absent-minded and just doesn't think things through. I don't even think he cares, honestly.
Mm-mm.
He
I
can
think
get
he
the
does,
hands.
but I'm sick of hearing him say I'm sorry. You keep saying I'm sorry, but you keep doing something else.
Yeah.
If you're sorry, stop doing dumb stuff.
Yeah, please.
He's
Um Anybody else? Reg can get the hands.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
Reg.
pulling out that gun on Hannibal's wife, I was like, that was foul.
Yeah, I ain't like that. Reg can get the hands.
I'm gonna give Detective
The
Toussaint the
son.
hands
Yeah,
because
she.
Mm-hmm.
you gotta let things materialize because as you force things to happen, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Things go awry. So
Mhm.
I'm giving her the hands for just being so, quick draw on this thing. Let things happen the way they're supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm on the fence about Dom. I don't know if I should give her hands or not.
You want to ask me?
I
I'll
might
give
give
it
her
to
a
you.
pluck.
I mean,
Yeah, Carolyn, you gotta ask it.
yeah, you
You
ask
know she
me.
getting one from Ron.
Yeah, don't ask me. I mean, keep me out of that one because I'll tell you, she needs it.
She has been very selfish this season, I'll say, with some of
Mhm.
her opinions. So
Hmm.
I'm not mad at that. Anybody else? I can't think of anybody else that can get the hands.
No.
Mhm.
For the game ball, what are you guys thinking?
I would give it to I forget the woman's name that Darnell was speaking with, who came up with the idea about
Oh, the
Yeah,
grief counselor.
the grief
uh,
counselor. I'd give her the game ball for coming up with that idea because that was definitely a
Yeah,
good
I
one.
love the idea of that.
I
Give
love the
people their
idea too.
flowers while they're here.
I
Mhm.
I love the idea too, but I had thought about it. I was like, if I was in their shoes, would I be able to do it? Would I
I
be able to do it?
know.
Would I be able even to give that speech? Like I thought about that when they did it. I said it's a good idea, but I was like, could I do that?
No,
Yeah, it's
somebody else has to give
definitely.
my speech. I wouldn't be able.
Yeah, but it was a good idea. I'm not mad at her getting the game ball. I also thought Professor Gardner always coming through, uplifting the boys, letting them know that they are valued in the community, and he's trying to advocate for them, taking them out on, taking especially the boys of the group, taking them under his wing and trying to nurture them. So
Mhm.
Professor Gardner can always get the game ball in my
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
Um, I think uh, who else? I was thinking Emmett and Darnell because they are trying to navigate this situation as best as they can, and I love how they are leaning on each other for
Yes.
support and encouragement. And Darnell, just continuing to reiterate to Emmett that, I have the best interest in mind for your mother. I'm not out here trying to be shiesty and do stuff on the side. I'm really trying to make these last moments with her count. So,
and also just he's been really good about reminding Emmett, like, yeah, I understand you are losing your mom, and that is tough. But understand that I'm losing the love of my life. Mm-hmm. So like we're both hurting.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give a game ball, but I will give an honorable mention to Zeke because he's trying to do the right thing. Now his execution may have upset some people, but he had good intentions. So
he did have.
I'll give him an honorable mention for trying to make a turnaround with his congregation and with his life and how he's moving. So I'm seeing him on the up and up.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot about Carolyn. So Carolyn's got to get the hands from
okay
this week. So she gets the hands.
I don't think she deserves the hands. For saying that she's a private person.
No, but there's a way to say everything, and I think and let's face it. Last week, your whole countenance with him was different. I mean,
does not mean she doesn't want to be with him.
No, but what I'm saying is your whole attitude would have made me think that it would have been okay to announce the fact that we are trying to get.
That doesn't mean.
I know it doesn't. But what I'm saying is, in her elaborating on what she likes versus what she doesn't like, she could have been a little softer tone. I just thought that what she said was a little harsh.
I don't know about that. I just think she was setting boundaries, and especially since this thing is still fresh, it's the same thing with Dom and with Jamal. You got to have these conversations. If you have a problem with something, you got to call it out as soon as possible. Nip it in the bud. Have the conversation. Let him know what your boundaries are, what you're comfortable with. I'm a private person. I don't necessarily need everybody knowing the ins and outs of my relationship. And Zeke said, okay, cool. I won't do that no more. So I think the mission was accomplished.
What does this mean?
I'm putting her on the fence.
No, it's not on the fence. Is she saying she is on board with reconciling and stuff, but that doesn't mean you gotta announce our business to the world.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. So I'm not giving her the hands.
I'm not giving her the hands either. I don't think she ain't saying nothing wrong by saying she's a private person.
I'm gonna give her the on Johnson hand.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, this has been fun. I really enjoyed this episode. To all the viewers out there, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, click that notification bell. Also make sure you drop down in the comments and give us your thoughts on this episode as well as any predictions you have for the final episode. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk and continue to invite your family and friends to join in on the conversation with us. Tifron, y'all got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, on that note, we are going to call it a night. Thank you guys so much for watching and tune in next week for the big finale.
Good night.
It must be the drugs. But now that I can focus, you the one that I want. So forgive my emotions. It must be the drugs. That's why I lied up. So I feel